The next principle that we follow is efficient. E for efficient. Now, efficiency has kind of two meanings in my head. I think the most common one we think about is efficiency of gear. So you don't want things to use more gear than it has to. And there's two reasons for that. One is that you save gear for other operations, lowering, just setting things up. So you want to make sure that you're reducing the amount of gear you're using so that you have it operational for other things. And also efficiency in time. So making sure you're not taking forever to set up a crazy complex anchor. Being efficient with your gear and your time, mostly with your gear, is going to allow you to have a simple anchor system that's easy to understand, which is really important when you're getting into more complex climbing, because you want to be able to quickly check everything and understand what's going on. And time, as you get into multi-pitches and more advanced climbing, you're going to want to have quick systems. That way you can, not take forever. Because if you're doing a 10-pitch, 12-pitch climb, each little transition anchor building adds up. I think as a beginner, it's okay to take time. I don't think I want to rush anyone into, trying to rush through their system and get down quickly. But you can think about ways to make anchors more efficient. So we're just going to take a quick moment, look at these two examples, and talk about how we can make these more efficient. So on my left here, this is actually two different 60-centimeter slings, two non-lockers, and then two what they call opposite and opposed lockers at the bottom. So generally, in guiding at least, what we would try and do if we're leaving a top rope up for a long time or setting up an anchor is we have, if it's a dual action carabiner, so two actions, spin, open, rather than triple action, which would be like down, twist, open, or something like that. A dual action carabiner, which I have a video on that. Maybe I'll link it in the bottom. But if you have a dual action, generally you want to put them opposite and opposed if you can. So they're facing out and the wide side is facing down. But this is using two non-lockers, two lockers, and two slings. Okay, so that's what's going on here. It's just a figure 8 on a bite. This one, same thing, two non-lockers, two lockers, but this is one sling because it is a 120-centimeter sling. And this is actually a girth hitch, and a girth hitch is a certain type of anchor. We're going to talk about types of anchor later. So both these systems are great. How you can make both of these more efficient, one thing is you could use a triple action carabiner. So I can't tell you if you are going to feel safe with this or not, but for me, if I have a triple action carabiner, I'm okay to replace two non-lockers with one triple action, and I'll trust my whole system on one of these. Like I said, it's up to you, but this will allow you to have one less carabiner in the system. I haven't used this often because I actually just didn't own any triple action carabiners. Plus, the reason why I like taking up two pear-shaped carabiners is because now I have two carabiners for different actions. Like if I have to impromptu rig up a personal anchor and feed the rope through and lower off that, I just like having, it meets my quota of locking carabiners by having two of these. Whereas if I just had a triple action, then I would have one less carabiner. But a lot of more alpine people I've heard bring these up so they can trust it as their master point. So it just depends. This is just a more efficient anchor for gear. And then if you want to make this even more efficient on gear, you can do this. So rather than using a carabiner to attach it to this wrap ring, now mind you, this only works if it's not a super crusty, rusty rappel ring, because you don't want to do this on something that's, like sandpaper, but you can girth hitch it. So you'd pull this through, open the loop, and reach through and grab that. So it's called a girth hitch, the same thing as that anchor. Dress it up nice. Boom. Clip this in here, and then I could do the same thing with those carabiners, but now I'm not using one there. And if you want to go real black belt on it, Alpine Savvy taught me this one. So if you want to talk really efficient, this is one crazy anchor that literally uses one carabiner and one 120 sling. So I'm going to girth hitch it around one wrap ring. And mind you, I'd only do this if the wrap ring wasn't really rusty, because I don't really want sandpaper feeling on that. And then I'm not even going to use my carabiner to attach it to this. Check this out. I'm going to feed the sling through that through that wrap ring, and now I have a triple set here. And what I'm going to do, I have a triple action carabiner. If I was using a dual action, I would be using 2 opposite and opposed. Because it's triple action, I feel good enough to feed this through the carabiner and girth hitch it. Dress it up all nice. Bam. Now check this out. You want to make sure that it's not covering up the gate there and all the load is going towards this. But you've now used no carabiners to attach it and only 1 carabiner for the master point. How crazy is that? So when you talk about efficiency, that's, you know, the king. But honestly, I usually just have a 120 sling on 2 non-lockers, throw it up, and then I'll either girth hitch it, tie a figure 8 on a bite. Sometimes I'll tie limiter knots and do a sliding X. And I know a lot of you use quads and just have them pre-rigged and just set them up. It's just fun to play around with the efficiency and see if you can do it more quickly. And remember, sometimes bolts are offset, so that's a consideration. And we're going to talk a little bit more about different setups of bolts because it's not always as simple as 2 sideways. Sometimes they're offset, sometimes they're further apart. Weird stuff. So we're going to talk about that later. But that's efficiency. Whoa. So next we're going to get into NE, which I will tell you what it is, / you'll see the title in the next one. Woo!